Fucking life, man. So I'm gonna do a little review, and we're gonna do a beginning review, and then we're gonna do it when it burns out. That's about it, if that ever happens. But fuck. So this is an electric corded chainsaw. It's called a Bauer. This thing is gnarly looking, I'm not gonna lie. I got 14-inch blades like there's no tomorrow, but so where I got this from originally, I got this from Harbor Freight. Why Harbor Freight? I know Harbor Freight's always had a bad name. At least I remember that growing up, you know, as a kid and stuff, when Harbor Freight came out. Actually, I wasn't even a kid. I was in my... I'm not going to go down that road on how old I am, but I was not a kid. I was driving, so... But Harbor Freight had come out, and at the time it was, you know, basically off-brands of what Home Depot and Lowe's sell. And now actually Harbor Freight's got to the point now where they are like 1,000 times better than everybody else that's out there. I just bought a transfer pump from them not that long ago, and the fucking thing is awesome. It's awesome. I love it. It does exactly what it does. It pumps fuel. You know, I'm running diesel fuel through it and stuff to go from one tank to another. It has no issues. The only thing is with it, you got to plug it in to turn it on. But hey, that's it. So that's the only issue with it. I mean, that's not really an issue. That's just a cool fact, just a factor of it. So this is a Bauer. It's a 16-inch corded chainsaw. It's got none of that stupid fucking bump thing on it like the Home Depot ones have. So why am I doing this video? Also says it has low kickback, but we're going to find out how low that kickback is. I bought a Home Light. So I've always had Home Light chainsaws, and I had bought a Home Light chainsaw from Home Depot. I'm going to put some oil in it while I'm babbling. And I had Home Light chainsaws. I got a really old one that's probably about 20 years old. Also cool, too, that it comes with its own oil. The one from Home Light didn't. So that's pretty cool. It came with its own oil. Can't really open it, but, hey, you know, it came with its own oil. But the Home Light one... I had since I was like, I think I've had it for about 20 years. It finally took a shit, and that thing I put through the fucking ringer. And I had another one that I had bought probably about 10 some odd years ago, and that thing went with where the insides were grinding and the blade wasn't moving. Is this little bottle gonna fill this thing up? Hey, it doesn't fill it up, but it gets you there, right? It's cool though, it's red, because it came out clear. I don't know if you guys can see that. The sun's in my eyes, but it actually came out red on the fill when I did that. But I also, while I was there, I bought some STP bar chain oil, because I'm running low on the oil I use. Yeah, actually, you know what? Let me not open this one up. Let me grab the bottle that I use. So anyway, so I use Oregon as well. All the shit's the same, you know. Honestly, after a while, it's the same shit. But I kind of like that it shows that it's red. I'm gonna top this off here. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. It's got different colorations of the chambers. So when it's red, it's low. And then everything else kind of has that like same color. It's pretty cool. All right, I like that. That's kind of cool. You know, it gives you a little like, hey, you're in the red. I'm gonna add some oil to it. So anyway, so I bought the Home Light one from Home Depot yesterday at like about 3 in the afternoon. I cut about 8 pallets with it. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about when I say I cut pallets, the way I cut the pallets. What I always like to do is once you get the cap on there too, just kind of make sure that everything's all nice and tight. This thing looks like it just, you spin it that way. Chain's nice and tight, so I don't have that issue. I cut about 8 pallets last night. It got too cold. I gave up. This morning, I cut 1 pallet, and then I started cutting into the other pallet that's currently still in there, and the fucking chainsaw died. So it's like, oh, this is great, you know. Fucking great. Fucking 10. And I only have 1 left, because the older one I have is down too with the same exact sound. So I'm like, fuck. And when I was at Home Depot, they wouldn't, the woman, when I talked to her, they didn't have a warranty on it. So I knew I was fucked with this thing. I'm like, well, the only thing I have is to return it. So I returned it. No questions asked. They had no issues returning it. That's when you know thing's a piece of shit. Even when I told them, I was like, yeah, I used it for like 3 hours and the fucking thing died. And they're like, okay, we'll give you your money back and list it as defective. And didn't offer me another one. So it kind of tells you they know. Or the guy just didn't give a shit. Either way. So I drove over to Harbor Freight and I grabbed this guy here, the Bear. Now, I have 14-inch blade replacements, but this is a 16-inch blade. But the way that I'm going with these chainsaws, I don't think it's going to last long. But if it does last long, then I'll buy 16-inch blades for it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But I also bought a 14-inch one. It's called a Portland. I'll do a video on that one once I kill this one here. And if I don't kill it, then we'll do a video on that one. But this is the Bear 16-inch electric corded saw. I know I've talked to the point of like nobody wants to hear anymore. I'm going to throw shit in the side of the where I'm working, and then we'll get to cut, and you guys get to see. Grab the chainsaw, grab you guys. Go inside our little hidey hole over here. So I'm working inside my wood shed because it's damn fucking cold at 19 degrees with these glasses that tint up. They're great, they tint, but it's such a pain in the ass. But it's cold outside. And there's no heat in here, so... And if you guys never saw the inside of this thing, that has a fan and that side has a fan. They're solar-powered fans. And then I got solar-powered lights. For some reason the lights are being a pain in the ass, so I had my little extra work lights and stuff. Well, if I hit something with them, with the wiring and shit, I got a little rowdy yesterday. But they're great, It for like in the summer, it sucks all the heat out and the moisture and stuff, and it keeps the wood inside the woodshed dry. Now, of course, wood nowadays, everybody wants to charge an arm and a leg because everybody thinks that they got gold, which they kind of do for people like us. But it's like really annoying. Like I talked to a guy the other day. I'm not going to name names. In case he ever sees the video, and I'm not being insulting, but come on, dude. A cord of wood. So what is a cord of wood? A cord of wood, for anybody who doesn't know, is you see this stack that's like half empty? Okay. This is basically, each of these rows here is a cord. So that far back stack is a cord, and then there's a stack behind it. Roughly, as a rough estimate. A rough estimate of a cord of wood, and you can Google this as well, is between 600 to 800 pieces, which is a massive gap. It's a massive gap. 600 to 800 is a massive gap of wood. Come on, Bauer. Alright, there we go. So what happens when you build a shed drunk. Everything's ghetto rigged. So anyway, the guy was charging for one cord of wood that can range between 600 to 800 pieces, charging $360. I almost passed out. The guy that I get wood from, he charges about $120. So what does that come out to be? So a lot of people are selling wood in New York, a stack of wood. So a stack they're selling as 10 pieces for $5. That'll equal out $300. He's charging me for 10 pieces of wood $2. Okay? Which is a lot better. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. A lot of companies nowadays, they have pallets. A lot of pallets are treated, a lot of pallets aren't treated. You can kind of tell with the wood, especially when you're cutting it. If you're throwing it in your fireplace, doesn't matter. Okay? As long as the smoke's not coming in your house, you're fine. So, I only burn non-painted pallet wood. And you can also see on the side of the wood, too. It'll show you, how it's chemically treated as well. So a lot of people will use that only in a fire pit, but then you breathe it in the smoke, so you're not really doing anything better for yourself. It's better in the fireplace. The smoke goes up the chimney instead of in your face. So the pallet wood, a lot of people, for the pallet, when they don't need pallets, the wood ends up becoming a situation. They have no use for it. It's a pain in the ass. It's heavy. It's awkward. You have no use for it. People like us, we have use for it. We cut it. Okay, so we cut the planks down. Okay, you got the planks and you got the beams. The beams I run through my chop saw to chunks. I call them chunkers. And the planks, we call them planks. What a plank of wood looks like is literally as is. It's a plank of wood. This was a piece that was across on a pallet that was cut. So with the planks and the chunks, it's great firewood. Okay, so why am I using pallets instead of anything else? Well, pallets are easy to come by because a lot of people, for them to have them removed from their business, they got to pay money. They don't want to pay money. They're already spending money to buy the product. And those companies that are shipping the items with the pallets aren't taking the pallets back and taking a discount off of the next bill. What the fuck, guys? I worked for a company one time. They used to get pallets in, and the company would say, like, hey, if you send the pallets back, we'll take $2 off each item on your next bill. Take $2 off per pallet on your next bill. It's great. We used to send tons of pallets back with them, and they'd take them back as long as they weren't fucked up. But nobody cares. Nobody wants to do that anymore these days because I guess wood is so readily available on their end. It is what it is, right? So they don't want to spend money. So they put it out there on Marketplace and different, areas. And they're like, hey, we have pallets, every week we get like 8 to 10 pallets. We'll just stack them up. You can take them. So I hop in my army truck, running my black diesel that I run through it, which is basically costing me about less than $1 a gallon, roughly estimated. Sometimes $1, $2 a gallon, depending on, the additives I add to it and stuff. And you guys could look up black diesel. The only thing I don't use is gasoline. I actually use diesel for it. I don't like the gasoline, but if you're using used motor oil from a gas engine, there are remnants of gasoline inside that oil. So it does take in a little gasoline, but not to the point that it's bad. And if you're going to want to run black diesel, like I said, do your research, and you got to make sure that you're not running it in a DEF truck. Obviously, the 86 Army truck has no DEF at all, no emission fucking issues, and it doesn't burn any oil, it doesn't burn any smoke, there's no coal. It is cleaner than a Prius on the highway. It's crazy. I mean, I was behind a Prius before, and the guy had blue smoke coming out of his tailpipe, and in the Army truck, I got nothing coming out. And that's running a 6.2 liter Detroit diesel with absolutely nothing wrong with the engine. It runs great because I do a lot of maintenance. I do all maintenance items on it. I change the oil. I check all the fluids. I change the glow plugs. You got to stay on top of anything, especially when it's old. You can see my glasses are finally tinting down. So I go and run that truck, and I go get my firewood. I'll load up the bed of the truck. So the bed of the truck holds about 8 pallets, 8 of the 4x4 pallets. I don't like stacking it high because I don't want it to fall out, and I don't want it to be in a situation on the road where a piece of wood flies off and hits somebody's car, and then I'm liable for smashing their windshield. It's just easier to stick it in the truck, and that's it. And I'll do my multiple loads, and truck gets 20 some odd miles to the gallon, and I'm barely going more than 5 miles from my house at 35, 40 miles an hour. I'm not looking to rush. I enjoy driving that truck, so it's a major saving, right? So that's a big saving right there. I filled up so many pails right now, garbage pails that we have with wood. This is all the plank wood here, okay? And this is all the beam wood that gets cut at certain lengths, and we call them chunkers. We call them chunkers because a lot of times I can't cut them nice enough because there's something wrong with them. Like this one, for example. This one was like loose as it was. So when I cut this, you got the little chunks on the side. We call them chunkers. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're big. It is what it is. This was what I was cutting. I literally got to there when the saw burnt out. So now we're running a saw that's got a higher amperage on it. It's a 14 amp on it versus the 9, so this thing's going to be more powerful. And I want to get to cutting. I'm tired of talking. I'm burning daylight here. And like I said, it's warmer inside of here, not by much, but it's also a reason why I'm running a corded chainsaw, because if I was to run a gas chainsaw, I would be on a different planet that I'm already on. So let's just stick you guys there. You're at foot view. I don't know if that's really great. Put my gloves on and stuff. I'm wearing multiple layers, so at 19 degrees I'm not cold at all. My hands get cold. I bought myself some thermal gloves. They should be coming in soon. Right now these are just double 2 gloves that I freaking sandwiched together. Keep my hands warm. Plus it stays warmer in here. So, but this thing is a hassle pallet because it's kind of falling apart on me here. So it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to try to get it to kind of where I want to. I'm trying to pin it on here so I can cut it, so on and so forth. Alright, we're going to grab our chainsaw. I always go blade down whenever you're attaching a cord. You also never want the cord to fall apart, so what I like to do a lot is I'll tie it on the back end. The reason why is if you're in the middle of cutting You don't want it to fall. Now, when you're about to plug it in, my foot is against the blade. So what I'm going to do is pull my foot back in case it was, for some reason it has a kick on it. For any reason, if something was hit, plug it in. Now we're good. We're safe. This thing has a safety button. It's right here. Your hand sits on it nice. It's got some weight on it. I'm not going to lie. But it's not a bad weight. It's a good weight. Got our cord right behind us. I put one foot on the pallet. Try to get it to the balance I want. I rest the blade right on top of the wood. And we pull the trigger and let's go. And we got no power. That's good. What happened here? It's plugged in. Let's try it now. That's it. Let's check. We got no power running through the chainsaw right now. So I gotta check. Maybe the stupid cord finally fell out of the wall. Wouldn't be surprised. Plugged in. What is going on here? Oh, I got nothing. I got no power. No power coming going in and out of this thing. Crap. 10 seconds into it, man, and it's already fucking not working. Oh, this is gonna be fun day. Yes, we got the plug lined up right. Pushed in. Is there another switch on here? What's going on here? And no power. Nothing. Not a fucking thing. What the fuck? Dandy instructions over here. Plugged it in. See if the instructions say anything about like a power situation. Nothing in the manual that says, how do you use it? Like, like power switch. It's funny too. I even said to the guy at Hardware Frame, I might be back right away. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. Plugged in. Don't want to run. The big piece can only go in one way. It's in there tight. Got the safety pushed in. Squeezing it. Nothing. Gotta loosen that down. Nothing. It's not even like trying to. This is a good fucking review for this fucking thing already. Alright. Well, that's one chainsaw down. We haven't even started cutting wood yet. That's great. I tell you, man, I'm like so about had it today. Fucking plug it in and nothing. What in the fucking shit is this? Alright. I'm gonna dick around some more. I guess my review video of how long it lasted is about now. Nothing else to it. There's no switches on it. There's no levers. Yeah, it's fucking spectacular, man. It's great. So I'm gonna keep putzing with it. You know, but I got power in the garage. Plug's plugged in. The cord has an illuminated light on it to let me know there's power running through it. And that thing just won't run. So it's great. On to the next one, I guess.